and this is Emily Pops. And in today's video we're doing something different, and it is going to be a Q&A. So I got about 9-10 questions here from people on YouTube and people on Instagram, and I'm going to answer the questions. Excuse the wet hair, I've had a bath because I'm going out tonight and I just threw a jumper on. It's also on backwards, I'm now noticing. Oh well. So we'll start off with the questions and I'll answer them accordingly. First up, from Carl Redding 3201, we have, do I play on the PC? Yes and no. I'm not really big into gaming on the PC. I mean, I have a MacBook, so I can't really do much on that. Well, a MacBook Air. So I can't do much on that. The only two games I do play on my PC are Sims and Football Manager. And that is it. They are the only two games that are downloaded onto my computer, and they are the only ones I play. I play Football Manager basically every day, and I play Sims every now and again. So that's that. Would I get into more PC gaming? I don't know. I've not got a powerful enough laptop in the first place to do so, and I'm literally planning on getting rid of my desk, so I'll have nowhere to put a desktop. So probably not. Next up, we have a question from the Sounds of the S-Town 1, and that is, what was the first games you remember growing up as a kid? So the console I predominantly played as a kid was the DS and the Wii. But when I think of three games that stand out to me as a kid that I just remember playing, it'd have to be Tom and Jerry Tales on the Game Boy Advance. I loved that game. I still think it's, well, I've not played it in a while, but from what I remember, it's still a semi-decent game. I did go on to buy the game on the DS and I hate it, so it's a completely different game though. Moving on, we have Animal Crossing Wild World on the Nintendo DS. Love that game. It is my favourite Animal Crossing game. It's incredible. I love it. And I've had my copy of that game since probably 2006, 2007. So yeah, that is an old copy of the game I own. And lastly, the other game that kind of defines my childhood, like when I think of video games, it's the third game that stands out. That's Chicken Little on the PS2. I didn't own a PS2 as a kid. My cousin, who was the same age as me, did. And the one game I remember playing a lot was Call of Duty. Not Call of Duty? No. Was Chicken Little. And that game is the only reason why I have a PlayStation 2 now. It was the first game I bought for the PS2 because I found it in a charity shop for 50p. And I was absolutely buzzing that I'd found it, and I couldn't wait to play it. But I couldn't play it because I didn't own the console. So it took me about a month to find one cheap enough, and I got the fat PlayStation 2 for £20 from someone who literally lived around the corner from me on Facebook Marketplace, and I was buzzing with that. Do I like the game now though? No. I don't like the ending when you're on the spaceship. It's so repetitive and so boring, and I didn't like it. But yeah, so they're the three games that kind of stand out to me and define my childhood. Moving on, we have another question from the Sounds of the S-Town, and it is, what got you into collecting? I've always been a bit of a collector. I mean, look at all the Funko Pops I've got. So I tend to collect a lot of stuff. But what got me specifically into collecting video games would have to be two YouTubers. We've got Retro Rick. I just stumbled across his channel one day and was hooked, and I was like, I like games, but I'd never thought of collecting them. I had a semi-decently sized Wii collection, like I had like 15 games, which I'd had growing up, and I liked it, and I'd already had different consoles, so I had multiple games for different consoles. Like, I already had a couple of GameCube games, I had my Wii games, I had a good portion of DS games and 3DS games, and I had a couple of Xbox One and Xbox 360 games as well. But that was as far as my games collection went. Obviously, since it's grown quite a bit. And yeah, and another now YouTuber that got me into collecting is Kale Talks. He was predominantly on TikTok, and I saw his collection and him talking about games, and I loved it. And he's English as well, so it was great. And he's also a big reason why I've started buying a lot more DVDs. I have loads of DVDs, probably more DVDs than I have games, but they're all downstairs because my mum likes DVDs as well, so they're in the living room. And yeah, they are the two kind of people that got me into collecting games, and I love it. I never go any other way. Moving on, we have a question from Blue Harvest Toys, and that is, what is the best game on the PS1 and why is it Metal Gear Solid? Seriously, what is my favourite game on each games console I own? I've never played a PS1, so I can't tell you what the best game is on that console, and I've never played Metal Gear, so I can't tell you that either. So, what's the favourite game on each console I own? So what consoles do I own? I own the Xbox 360, the Xbox One, the PS2, the PS3, the PS4, the Wii, the GameCube, the DS, the 3DS, the Wii U, and a Game Boy. I don't own the Game Boy, but I've got quite a lot of Game Boy games from childhood. So what would my favourite games of those consoles be? So we'll start off with the PS2. What would my favourite PS2 game be? Ooh, I don't know. I said Chicken Little, but it's not, because I don't enjoy the second half of that game. I'm currently playing Cars on there, and I'm enjoying that, but I'm also just playing that very hit and miss. But what's the game I've spent the most time playing on the PS2? That would probably have to be. And I thought that was a good game. I'm pretty sure not many people like it, but I do. And that is Simpsons Skateboarding. I love that game. I like skateboarding games. I'm a big fan of the Skate franchise, and I'm a huge Simpsons fan. So skateboarding and Simpsons in one game, yes please. I've not played it in a while though, but it's a very good game and I enjoyed it. So if you like Simpsons, you like PS2, buy it. I think it's like £6, so it's cheap. So pick it up. Moving on to the PS3. Ooh. PS3. What game did I predominantly play as a child on the PS3? I do not know. What did I predominantly play on the PS3 when I was younger? Little Big Planet. I've not played much of my PS3, so I've not got big knowledge on what my favourite game is for that console, but I do love Little Big Planet. I spent loads of... I had a PS3 when I was younger, and we didn't have many games, and PS3 was one of the ones we had on the console, so we'd probably have to go for that. And I did want to get the Platinum, but it isn't obtainable anymore, so I do want to get as close as I possibly can to the Platinum on that game, because I love that sort of game, and it's really fun. Moving on, what's my favourite game from the PS4? That'll be Insomniac Spider-Man, done and dusted. Love that game. It's one of my favourite games of all time, if not my favourite game ever. So it's 100% that. Moving on to the Xbox 360. Obviously, I mainly collect Xbox 360. And what would my favourite game on that console have to be? I think I'd have to go Skate 3. Again, skateboarding theme. I love Skate 3. I don't actually have a physical copy on the 360. I have it downloaded on my Xbox One, but it's just a game you can pick up and play whenever, and it's so fun, and I love it. And yeah, such a good game, and it's just relaxing. I just chill, wiggle my analog stick, and I'm good. I'm good to go, and it's a really fun game. What else? Xbox One, my favourite game on the Xbox One. I only really play FIFA. So, what games have I actually got? No, you know what we'll go with? We'll go with Far Cry 4. Love Far Cry 4. It is one of my favourite games. It's probably my favourite game in the Far Cry franchise, and I love it. And I've mainly played it on the Xbox One, so yeah, certainly we'll have to go with Far Cry 4. Moving on to the Nintendo, we'll go with the Nintendo on the... We'll go with the Game Boy Advance, and as mentioned previously, my favourite game on that console. I've not played much because I had a small selection as a kid, and I've never really got into collecting for the GBA, but it'd have to be Tom and Jerry Tales. Love that game. I actually really want to play it again, but my DS Lite, which is there, is being really awkward at the minute, so I've not been on it, and that's the only way I can play GBA games. The DS, my favourite game on the DS is Animal Crossing Wild World. Love that game with my whole heart. My favourite Animal Crossing game, and it's what got me into the franchise, and it's probably the reason why I'm into video games the way I am. I love it. The Wii, ooh. What do I love on the Wii? What's my favourite game on the Wii? What game do I always play on the Wii? Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. You've got mail. I love that game. It's my favourite my favourite Mario and Sonic Olympic Games game. It's so fun, and I spent the most time playing that as a kid with my brother, and closely followed by Wii Sports. I loved Wii Sports, but I also really love Wii Fit Plus. Very good. I like the Wii. Moving on to the Wii U, my favourite game would have to be... I've only got 3 games for the Wii U. So we'll go with Mario Kart 8. Moving on from the Wii U, we have got the Nintendo 3DS, and my favourite game for that console is... Ooh, what is it? Animal Crossing New Leaf. I was going to say Tamagotchi Life, but I've got to stick to my roots and go Animal Crossing New Leaf. It's the Animal Crossing game I've probably played the most, because my town on Animal Crossing New Leaf is from 2017, so it's 7 years old. Quite soon, actually. In July, it becomes 7 years old. And yeah, it was a big step up from City Folk to New Leaf, and it was great. In my opinion, it's not my favourite Animal Crossing game, but it is, in my opinion, the best Animal Crossing game. It's got an unbelievable soundtrack. Love the OST. It's not my favourite OST because that's Animal Crossing Wild World. It can also be City Folk because they are the same. But yeah, Animal Crossing New Leaf. And finishing off, my favourite game on the Nintendo Switch is Super Mario Odyssey. I have not yet completed that game. I seriously struggle on the dark side of the moon, and I get into it and then I give up, and then I get into it and then I give up because I cannot beat it. It drives me insane. So that was a long question, but that is my favourite game on every single games console that I own. Moving on, we have a question from Jimmy75256, and that is favourite arcade video game. I've never played. I've never really played arcade games because I've just never done it. So I don't really have a favourite. I mean, the only one I can think of at the top of my head is Space Invaders, and I don't even know if that's what Space Invaders is called. I might be thinking of the Crisp. It could be Space Raiders, but that could be the Crisp. Or it could be Space Invaders, but that could be the Crisp. So I don't have an opinion because I've never really been into arcade games, because I suppose, because I'm only 22, arcades have kind of just died out, and the only arcades I see now are in bowling alleys and potentially cinemas. So I've never really gone. When I go to an arcade, I tend to play air hockey. I love air hockey and I'm really good at it. So yeah. Moving on, we're into the last 3 questions now. Here we have one from zombie_cat1 on Instagram, and that is, do you prefer new gaming, i.e. where updates are regular, or the old style of the game was made and plug and play? I prefer the old style like PS1 2. The updates are just bullshit now and I hardly get to play games. Xbox has way too many updates. I do agree with that second part of the question. There are too many updates nowadays. Although the games are constantly improving, because there's always new updates, games aren't as high quality when they first come out. So I would have to say my favourite era of gaming is the games where you're not continuously updating. When you buy a game, that is the game you've got, and I love that. It meant people had to put in more effort into the games, and it allowed them to give you the full product at release, and that's what it's good. The penultimate question is from Nick Hasn't Slept, and that is, what is my ultimate grail pickup? Like, if you saw it and had the cash, you'd have to buy it regardless of the cost. If we're thinking of consoles, it is the Spider-Man PS5. I think that's around £500 at CEX. I love Spider-Man and I really want a PS5, and the only reason why I buy a PS5 is to play Spider-Man. So I might as well get the actual console and play Spider-Man. And games-wise, I did see it a couple of weeks ago in CEX in Oxford, and that is Chibi Robo on the GameCube. That, at the minute, is my ultimate grail I'm aiming to get, as I already reached Animal Crossing on the GameCube. And yeah, I'm never going to have the cash on me to be able to justify spending the £200 and odd on the game. But if I did, and I didn't have to worry about money, that is 100% what I would buy. And the last question is from Bricks and Gaming. And what is my rarest game? Oh God, I don't even know. What is my rarest game? If we're going on value, it'd be Animal Crossing on the GameCube. But rarity, I've not actually checked. I know I do have this weird game on the DS, which I've never really seen, and it's sealed, and it is, oh no, it's not sealed, it's been ripped. It is Walk With Me on the Nintendo DS. I've never seen one of these in person, and I found this in a charity shop, but I've never seen one at CEX. So yeah, I'd probably go with Walk With Me on the DS. It's not expensive, I think it's like a £4 game, but yeah, that. So that is the Q&A. I hope you all enjoyed. It was a different type of video. I've been really busy all week, so I've not had time to record, so I kind of decided to throw this one together. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, remember to like, comment and subscribe down below for more videos like these, and I'll see you all next time for the next video. Peace.